So in this video, we got 5 wealth strategies that everyone follows that don't actually work. Maybe you can relate to some of these. So one of the first things that people tend to subscribe to or follow is they like to focus on one asset that appreciates over time. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is a slow thing. They say that a lot of millionaires become rich in real estate, and it is true, but it's not a get rich quick thing. So if you get into real estate, don't think you're going to get rich quick. You can get rich for sure, and you can get rich over time, but it's certainly not quickly. If you hold on for dear life in the crypto world, as we call it, you can buy some Bitcoin right now and wait 10, 15, 20 years until it's 1.5, 2 million or $5 million per Bitcoin. You might get rich, but it's going to take a long time. So a faster way would be to learn how to compress time by using leverage. Even in real estate, you can borrow your way to wealth. If you don't have any money to buy a property or a house or apartment complex to invest in real estate, you can borrow the majority of it from the bank and borrow the down payment from a private investor and buy a much larger property quicker than you would ever be able to do it on your own over time, thus increasing the speed and the likelihood of you getting richer faster. In crypto, we trade Bitcoin futures contracts with leverage. And if you didn't have leverage and you just wanted to do it on your own and all you had was $1,000 to buy Bitcoin and Bitcoin went up 100% in the next year, you would only turn $1,000 into $2,000. That's not going to get you rich. It's not going to get you excited. But if you knew how to use leverage in trading, you can take $1,000, trade with 10x or 50x leverage. That means you're trading with $50,000. And if Bitcoin only goes up 1% in the market, instead of making 1% of $1,000, you're making 1% of $50,000. So that's how you can collapse time and get richer much quicker. You got to understand leverage. The next concept and the next idea that people think that works for them is it's the time in the market. You got to just spend a lot of time. And what we like to say in Crypto Renegades, it's not the time that you've been in the market, it's timing the market. We got people that come into the market, into our group, and they've only been trading for less than a month, and they're making $20,000, $30,000 in the first 30 days of being. And that same person, for instance, might 3 or 4 months later make entire whole Bitcoins in one day. They haven't been trading a long time. They haven't been in the market for a long time. They just know how to time the market. And they learn that by following people that know what they're doing, who have time in the market and who understand how to time the market. So you can take anybody. From the time that I have in the market, I can take anybody and show them how to be successful very quickly by just timing the market. Next concept is a lot of people are out there trying to start a bunch of income streams, tiny little businesses. They get one thing going, they get one plate spinning, and they immediately start spinning the next place. Then they start spinning the next place. And before they know it, the first plate is starting to wobble. They have to go back and spin that one. You ever see those guys on those old TV shows spinning a bunch of plates on a bunch of sticks? And they got to just constantly go back and keep them going. Otherwise, if they ignore one for a little bit of time, all the plates fall. And so the reality is guys, is that the most important thing for you to do is get one plate spinning really, really good. Focus on one thing. Focus on one thing until you become an expert at it. You become very good at it. And the income stream is a roaring river. Then you can focus on the second one and the third one after that. That's the best way to do it. I don't know of any really successful person that has multiple streams of income all trying to get started at the same time. They usually get one business going very, very successfully first. They focus on that one thing, they build it up, and then after that, they might think of getting involved in something else. The next thing that people think is the way to riches is slow and steady wins the race. The old tortoise and the hare concept. But the truth is, unfortunately, we do not live long enough to get rich slowly. And in fact, so much so that people think that the term get rich quick scheme is actually even a bad thing. They hear that and they're like, oh, is that one of those get rich quick schemes? Because they've been indoctrinated to believe that you cannot get rich quick. And that if someone is trying to tell you about something that sounds like a get rich quick fast opportunity, then it must be a scheme, which means it must be terrible. It must be a scam. It must not be real. But the truth is the word scheme is just short for schematic, which means to have a plan. And you need a plan to get rich, quick or slow. But what is your choice? I will tell you this, that whenever you see someone like the Donald Trumps of the world who make $600 million in a year, and you think, oh yeah, someday I'm going to do that. The reality is that If you make $100,000 a year right now, it would take you 6,000 years to make $600 million in a year. And you do not live long enough to make that kind of money. And so the only way for anybody to make that kind of money and to get super rich is leverage. You need to understand leverage. You need to understand how to collapse time. And you do that by using OPM, other people's money. Most people who got that rich that quickly or within a 5 to 10 year period, which is still rather quickly in a lifetime, they use other people's money. They borrow a lot of money from the bank. Even the most successful real estate investors borrow a lot of money to buy real estate and to put, they come up with a small amount either from themselves or from other investors as a down payment, and they borrow the rest from the banks or the private lenders. That's how you acquire large amounts of valuable real estate in a short period of time. If you had to save up the money yourself to buy a $500,000 house, for instance, how long would it take you to save up $500,000? Some people would take their whole lifetime. They wouldn't be able to do that. And so you need to learn how to use OPM, other people's money, whether it's a bank. And that's what they're for. That's what they're there for, to lend. And a lot of people, they're scared to borrow. They're scared to borrow because they think debt is bad, because somewhere, somehow, somebody convinced you that even debt is bad and you should be debt free and you should pay off all your loans. And what does that get you? It gets you pretty much broke, but with no debt. Okay, great. But the people who are the richest, they use money, they borrow money, and they pay no taxes on the refinance of that money. And that's why they get richer and richer and richer, and the poor get poorer and poorer and poorer. And so if you don't understand the concepts, comment below, reach out, ask for more information. I'll be happy to get it to you. And these are some of the concepts that people hold on to, thinking that that's the way to wealth and riches. But it's usually the opposite of what you think. In fact, if you see a herd running towards a cliff, you should probably do the opposite. As Warren Buffett says, when there's blood in the streets, that's when the best opportunity is. But when there's blood in the streets, that's also when everybody's scared. Everybody's in fear of the market. They're in fear of the depression, the recession, whatever it is. And that's when everybody is closed vested. They're holding their money tight. They don't want to let it go. But the smart investors come in and buy up everything when everything's on the cheap. And then it goes back up to all-time highs. And that's when the smart investors sell at the all-time high and take the profit. But when it's going back up, that's when all the regular people say, oh, it must be safe to buy now. And so they jump in at the top of the market. And then they get slaughtered again because they just don't understand. You got to be contrarian. You got to do the opposite of what the masters are doing. And it's counterintuitive, yes. But that's why there's only the 1%. The 1% are doing what the 1% do. The 99% do what the 99% do. And if you ever want to be one of the 1%ers, you got to do the opposite of what the masses are doing. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Comment below if it was. Let me know any other ideas that you think that people hold on to. They think that gets them rich but doesn't work. I'd be happy to hear your ideas as well. See you on the next video.